Okay. We are live. It is 9 p.m. on a Tuesday here at twitch.tv/Perry Von Vicious, and that means it is time for Tuesday Night Perry. We're back again in Monster Jam Showdown. And yeah, really still enjoying this game. And they've had a bunch of DLC since I was last here, and it's all stuff that was either free or included with my purchase. So that's a welcome surprise. So yeah, we're gonna jump right in. Got a bunch of showdown stuff to do in the tour. Got a new truck to try out. A couple new trucks to try out actually. So all right, let's see. Where do we have the most ground to cover here? It looks like we've done everything there. Hey, Bobby Gilbert in the chat. That's right. Welcome to Tuesday Night Perry. Bobby Gilbert with that the big birthday coming up next week. All right. So it looks like we got some stuff to clear here. Oh yeah, and it looks like it's almost exclusively more freestyles. Well, that's just as well because we got a whole new couple of trucks to try out. Bobby, I am in fact logged into Discord. I know you were planning to call in. We gotta get Bobby on the line because his birthday is coming up. In the meantime, let me hop back over into the game here. And yeah, we'll do this one. Oh, you know what? We're gonna change our truck though. I'm not sure why it has me on the the Monster Jam test truck, but we're gonna go all the way to the end here, where we have from our last round here, we have Soldier Fortune, Black Pearl, Captain's Curse, and Digatron. Digatron being the newest. So we're gonna start there with the JCB Digatron, the big sponsor truck. Every little kid's dying to play with the sponsor truck. All right, let's see here. All right, looking good. All right, we're jumping in.
Hold on tight, Colorado Stadium! Your favorite Monster Jam trucks are about to take to the arena for an incredible new freestyle event!
Oh, look at it in all its glory. It does look good. They did a nice job with that.
It's time for Digatron! Let the action begin!
Well, the announcer was excited about the sponsor truck, that's for sure.
Big save! Oh, it just keeps getting better! Pulls off a perfect sky wheelie! Donut!
I'm gonna pause it. Looks like we're making the call happen. Just give me one sec here because I'm gonna kill our audio from the game entirely because otherwise that's gonna mess with what everyone else hears here. All right, let me hop over to the Discord here. Hey, there's Bobby. All right, give me one
I
sec
have
here.
to pause the stream because because it was I'm using a headset.
Ah, gotcha. But I got you on the call now. You're on the stream currently, so we got you.
Ah crap, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Ah, no worries. So you got your birthday coming up next week, huh?
Yep, on the 24th.
Any big plans?
Um I was thinking about tormenting myself on Wednesday and well, midnight, whatever that you want to call that time between Wednesday and Thursday at midnight.
Oh, you were gonna go ahead and try to hit the exact moment.
I was going to do a torment stream.
Oh,
See
cool.
how long I could see how long I could stream for before falling asleep.
Oh man, you should if you do that, I've got the perfect game. It's not fun. It's a game called Desert Bus.
Is
It was mhm.
it is it on Xbox?
It's on Steam and it's free. I don't know if it's on Xbox. But
Uh,
it's a game that was originally designed as a hidden extra game for a video game that was supposed to star Penn and Teller. And then that game never actually came out, but this game they leaked, and it was at the time the one of the big right wing politicians, Janet Reno, had been quoted as saying that video games were too violent, and that's why kids were engaging in violence so much. They'd been desensitized. She said video games were evil and violent, so why don't they make games that prepare people for real world jobs? And so Penn and Teller said, "Sure, we can do that." And they made a game called Desert Bus, where in real time you drive a bus back and forth with no traffic at all from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. So, and every time you make the trip from Los Angeles to Vegas and back in real time, it takes the actual amount of time, and you can only drive the speed limit. Every time you
well,
did it, it would take, 8 hours, and when you got back, you got 1 point. The steering in it always pulls just a little bit to the right, so you're always correcting just a tiny bit. And other than that, the only thing that happens is randomized at 1 point on the trip, a mosquito will hit the windshield and you have to hit the windshield wipers. So
that just sounds like torture.
yeah, that they did that on purpose. It was meant to show that the idea of having a video game that trains you for a real job was absurd because it would be the worst video game in the world. And they were right. Now they have some groups that do charity streams of it every year where they'll play for like a week straight taking turns.
Robotics said in the chat, Janet Reno. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I like to imagine that that was delivered in the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But yeah, it's true. I mean, Janet Reno was part of George W.'s cabinet, so that was a long time ago now. And yeah, in fact, she was often portrayed by Will Ferrell on SNL.
Oh my god. Anytime I think of Will Ferrell, I think of his skits, his Celebrity Jeopardy skits.
Yes, classic. Some of the greatest. I still watch those and laugh. Like they've not gotten less funny to me. The portrayal of Sean Connery and later of Burt Reynolds, or as he preferred to be called, Turd Ferguson.
I was about to say, don't you mean Turd Ferguson?
Oh yeah. Oh, are you kidding? Yeah, I can see here Robotic says I wrote that as you said it. Yeah, we were all jumping for that Turd Ferguson reference. That's what the people tune in for.
Exactly. if Joey Nails shows up, since he welcomed me, since he allowed me to be on his call on his birthday, he's welcome to join ours.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see if he strolls in. You know, he shows up late a lot, but he started a new job, so you know you gotta give him a little bit of leeway there. He's a
Right?
busy man.
He's making more money. He's making more money so he can give to his manager so he can spend it on Dogecoin.
Well, it's also so he can cheer for me on the stream. I see that happen a lot.
Yeah, he does that. He does do that a lot.
Am I having a rough round with this one, Herobotic? I think I may have done okay. I don't think I got first place, but I did okay. He's fourth. Ah, yeah, that won't do. No, Herobotic was right.
So, what do you think of the Digatron truck?
I think it's great. I think they did a really good job with it in here. I like the way it looks in real life. You know, watching Tristan England drive it last year was really cool. He did a great job,
Again
and
this year?
yep, and he did great at World Finals too, wasn't he? He made it pretty deep into racing, if I recall, right?
Yeah, he was in the finals.
That's
He
what I
lost
thought.
to Zach Gardner.
Yep, lost to Zach Garner in it's why am I
Wild
blank?
side.
Wild Side. Yes, thank you. I was like, why am I blanking on the name of this truck? Um,
Mom,
but yeah,
I
I
was.
mean,
I'm sorry.
they had to get it in the game. I mean, apart from the fact that it's like a sponsor vehicle, with that deal they
Right?
have with JCB, JBC. I can't see it. Hang on. JCB. There it is.
JCB.
I had to spin it sideways so I could see. Um, but yeah, between that deal, they had to get it in the game, but also it made it to the World Finals Racing Finals. You know, you got to put them in the game.
Right? I feel like if I feel like they're going to. I feel like if there's anything that if the World Finals next year is how it was this year, we might see a surprise champion in racing.
I mean, we certainly did this year. No one saw it coming, and watching it unfold was really exciting.
Yeah, the moment Zach won, I was screaming.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could see the whole arena went nuts for it because it was such a surprise. I mean, you know, you
Right?
assume like a Gravedigger or a Max D or someone like that's going to be in the finals, but you know, you get a young driver from an indie team. That's
Right?
a great surprise.
Hell, if I'm correct, he's Zach's only the second Indy team driver to win the Racing World Championship.
Who's the other?
Um, Jimmy Cretin.
I was gonna say it would have probably been Cretan because man, Bounty Hunter uh was like racing king for a while there. You know,
Yeah,
he was hard to beat.
he's always been hard to beat. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember seeing Bounty Hunter on crap. It always blanks my mind. There used to be a Monster Trucks event always on versus on the weekends. I keep forgetting what it was called.
Oh, it wouldn't have been toughest monster truck tour.
I don't think so. It had Bigfoot,
Well,
Snakebite.
that may have been toughest monster truck tour because that sounds like where Bigfoot was at the time.
Oh,
They may have had a different name for the TV show.
but I also remember seeing Bounty Hunter on there.
Yep, he was always flipping between Monster Jam and the other show. And he was one of
It's
the
like
few that
Jim,
got to float between them.
just like Jim Kohler does between Monster Jam and Monster Truck Throwdown.
Yep, there's a few guys that do that. I mean, you see, yeah, I was gonna say certainly Jim Kohler, and then you see a few others that will occasionally sneak from one to the other. Certainly that's
The
when
Zimmers.
yeah, I was gonna say Excalibur and a lot of the Triple B. You know, the Triple B you don't see as often, but I know that they've snuck into a couple here and there where they've needed people to fill in.
Right. I wonder if Tom Brewery Motorsports was affected, excuse me, by the hurricane at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any posts from them, which is probably a good thing.
Right.
You know, I feel like we'd have seen something about it. But yeah, wild stuff down there.
So how do
Crazy.
you feel about how do
Hmm.
you feel about the Marvel trucks?
You know, the look of them is, I mean, so all the trucks are basically the same chassis, more or less. You know, there's like two or three chassis that Monster Jam even allows on their track. And then they all have to have the same tires and all, you know, so you don't get a lot of variation in the trucks anyway. So really all you get is what they do with the fiberglass shell. Is it like interesting and different? And all the Marvel trucks just look so uninspired. Like they all kind of look the same, just with different paint schemes.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Iron Man one. Then again, I am kind of biased because I own it.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things where like I want to like it. I love a good crossover. You know, the wrestling crossovers have always been fun. I like the Ninja Turtle truck back in the day. But I don't know, it's not really doing it for me. And it might just be like I kind of fell out of watching the Marvel movies after Endgame. Like it got very complicated.
Well, speaking of monster truck partnership with wrestling, I really want to see Monster Jam partner with AEW.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
mean,
like they're
I'd be happy with them partnering with anybody. I think it would be cool. But I mean, we obviously know now the ties are there. If they're teaming with anyone, it's going to be WWE with The Rock starring in a Monster Jam movie,
right.
and that's
If
fine.
that
You
does
know,
happen, if that does happen, I really hope that they have an Oscar themed monster truck.
yeah, honestly, Asuka or Kairi Sane would be cool. Io Sky. I mean, selfishly, I'd love to see a Bailey truck. That would be cool.
Right. I was about to correct you there. I was about to say you mean Io Shirai.
Well, I mean, I like to use whatever the current name is, you know? It feels right.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I know
I
like
just
certainly myself and some wrestling friends, like we've had the weird experience where like fans want to call us by our real names because they find us on Facebook or whatever. It's super weird. Like it just feels kind of wrong.
right.
All right, well, that took me certainly enough tries, and I finally got first place in that one. I think I just took like 5 runs at that one freestyle, and it appears I unlocked nothing in the process, which is fitting because I did so poorly.
I
All right.
I recently unlocked a zombie fire.
Oh yeah. Oh, I bet that looks. Did I don't think I have that one yet, right? Because I bet that looks totally
I
amazing.
It does.
Here, Robotic in the chat says, "Shit, I call you Perry sometimes. Your fans shouldn't be calling you Dave." And he's right. It's weird when they do. Honestly, I
Even
tweeted
though
about. Uh-huh.
I was gonna say, even though you have a really cool freaking last name,
I mean, Von Vicious is a great last name. No,
right?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But yeah, it's definitely weird. Like, in my real life, I think at this point my brother is the only. Here Robotic says about Black Pearl that I just pulled up. Is that a Disney themed truck? I believe
uh,
technically, because it's named after
I
the
don't
Black
think it
Pearl.
is.
I mean, it's a pirate themed one named after the Black Pearl, and that's a ship in the Pirates of the Caribbean films. So I think there's an argument for that, but I don't know that it is technically.
A few weeks ago, I visited the Black Pearl website,
Oh, okay.
and a pirate metal song was playing on it.
Oh
So
man, was it
I
do you know which band it was?
no, I've been wanting to revisit the website just to see if I can find out which band. I know
Yeah,
it
'cause
wasn't Ailstorm.
man, me and Rip Bison will blast some Ailstorm in the car sometimes. It meets at exactly our intersections of musical interest. He likes
Right?
pretty much only heavy metal, and I like novelty bands.
Well, hey, that's a good freaking that's a good in between.
Yeah, it's for us it's like that and like Tenacious D. Like those are sort of the things that we can both like enjoy together.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't think Rip would like Tenacious D.
Oh, loves them. But yeah, I hadn't thought about whether this was a pirate metal band. Oh yeah, Herobotic just remembered he has to buy tickets for the upcoming Grind show. Yeah, they just announced my match for that show. Pretty excited. It's another trios, but this time it is I don't think I got to talk about this on stream before. This is a for the first time ever as a trios, a full mutually assured destruction, full mad reunion. It is
Oh
myself, Rip
hell yeah!
Bison, and Delmi Exo, our final form of mad, all three of us. I've been tag team champions with both of them at different times, in different places. And the only other time we've ever all appeared as mad was not in a trios match. It was just a regular tag, and Delmi was managing us. Um, and our opponents for that match are the returning Logan Black, the King of Chaos from down in New York, teaming with two of his students from the T2T school in New York, Kwesi
That's cool.
Asante. Kwesi Asante, who is incredible, a great young talent. I worked with him for the first time at my last show before I left for Japan. It was a Blitzkrieg Pro show at last year's Retro World Expo. And also A Game Joseph Alexander, who was my last singles match at Grind before I went to Japan, and maybe my best match of 2024. So these are three incredible talents. Logan's been doing this as long as me and Rip, uh, and
Oh,
is a greatly underappreciated talent and a head trainer for a school that is turning out some incredible talent. And these are easily two of his very top students. So should be quite the little grind versus T2T match. So that'll be exciting.
oh, sure.
They've also announced the rabid honey badger Ryan Mooney taking on the debuting, not just for Grind, but debuting in America that night, Jet Wee from Kyushu Pro Wrestling. I know Rip is
I'm going to be
very,
rooting for Jet.
honestly, I love Ryan Mooney. He was in my trios match at the last show on my team, but I'm also rooting for Jet. Um, I don't think there's a such thing as a loser in this match, though. I think everybody wins with this match. And I know for a fact from conversations we had in Japan that this was the dream booking that Rip had in mind for Jet Li if he was ever able to bring him to America. He specifically told me, Ryan Mooney, and I see Herobotics also mentioning how good Ryan Mooney was at the last show. That was Herobotics' first time seeing him. He's amazing. He trained at the Ring of Honor school and then later
Oh,
at the Worldwide Dojo down in the Philly area, training under the world famous Cheeseburger. And if you're unfamiliar with Cheeseburger,
I
he
know who
was in.
Cheeseburger is.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's for a guy that is not a TV guy or whatever, however people want to describe him. He's wrestled at the Tokyo Dome. He's wrestled at Madison Square Garden. he's wrestled Jushin Thunder Liger. Like, that's a dude who is well accomplished. And
Right?
he's the primary trainer that him and Delirious are the primary people to have trained Ryan Mooney, and it really shows.
I wonder how he was able to understand what Delirious was saying.
Well, he must have picked up enough because he has adopted a few of Delirious's like signature moves. Most notably, he often throws the Shadows over Hell top rope splash to the back of a kneed opponent. Yeah, Hirobotic. No, Hirobotic remembers. Hirobotic was with me going to ROH shows back in 2005, 2006, and he says in
That's
the
before Kevin Steen wrestled there, right?
that was right as he was coming in. I was at a few shows before he debuted, and then him and Generico showed up. But yeah, Hirobotic was with me at those shows, and he distinctly remembers the crowd going nuts for Delirious back then. Uh,
Brian Danielson there.
he certainly was. Funny enough, the first date that my wife and I ever went on, if we can call it a date, I needed a ride because my car died to a Ring of Honor show, and she was kind enough to take me, even though she does not care about wrestling. And man, that show had Nigel McGuinness, it had Brian Danielson, it had Takeshi Morishima, it had Claudio. Just like the list of people who've gone on to do insane things who were on that show is crazy. It was Generico and Steen were both on it. The Briscoes, like it's an absolutely like star-studded lineup to go back and look at.
Okay, I'm jealous now. You got to see the Briscoes wrestle.
Oh, I saw him a bunch. In fact, I pissed him off one time.
Oh,
I I didn't
that's
like them at the time because they wore the rebel flag all over their gear,
yeah.
and they had a cage match against Steen Erico, and they after they won, they're celebrating up on the cage, and I'm flipping them the bird from the audience, and one of them like healed right up on me. I don't remember which one, but I immediately was like, no, no, I'm sorry, sorry.
Oh my god. But I I remember when the day Jay Briscoe yeah
Yeah, I remember.
Effie made a post talking about how Jay was one of the nicest people to him in the back.
Yeah, I've only heard good things. I'm catching up on Hirobotic in the chat. He says Claudio Castagnoli, man, that's a name I haven't thought about in years. He's actually a top talent in AEW and was in WWE as a top talent for quite some time. And then he
Um
adds, oh,
about
Steen.
his WWE
Hey, he
about
had some
his
big moments and he
WWE
held a
run.
lot of belts. They didn't showcase him like they could have, but he made a he made a boatload of money.
Yeah,
Hirobotic
I
also says, "Oh man, Steen on those shows. What a great time." Yeah, Hirobotic. I know you haven't kept up on the product, but Kevin Steen, now known as Kevin Owens, is also very much a top talent in WWE. Like everyone
former
from those shows.
NXT.
Yep, former
He's a
NXT,
former NXT
former
Universal.
Universal champion. Yep. Yeah, he's done damn near everything in the company. And same with Generico, sort of. El Generico, of course, left wrestling to go run a orphanage in Mexico, famously.
Oh,
But his good
actually,
friend Sami Zayn is a great talent in WWE.
um, to correct you there, if I remember correctly, he doesn't run an orphanage, according to a promo him and Colt Cabana cut before.
Well, I
he said I eat kids.
well, I mean, you got to eat something. Who am I to judge? Who
Oh
am
my
I to
god,
judge the cuisine of other cultures?
I was laughing at that. I'm gonna have to find it on YouTube and send it to you after the stream.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was
Hero Robotics says, "Oh, I didn't know Sami Zayn was friends with him." Yeah, very good friends. They know each other very well, like the back of a mask.
but no, it was Colt trying to teach El Generico English
Oh, I
because
remember that.
they were trying to cut a promo on Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that would have been a PWG promo if memory serves.
I think it was.
Man, talk about a company that had some crazy great times.
Right?
My
I can't even remember.
my buddy Levi was going to some PWG shows and helping out with ring crew and stuff years back. And they would always let, ring crew would get to stay and watch the show for free. So he got to see a sold out show in Reseda before that venue closed. And the one he
Damn.
was at happened to be the six man that I'm going to try to remember. It might have been a three-way tag that was like Ricochet and Rich Swann versus the Bucks versus someone else. I don't remember who the other team was. And it was the first five-star match other than like Taker Sean at Mania. It was the first five-star match in America in like 15 years. And
Wow.
he got to be there in person for it, wearing a Perry Von Vicious T-shirt.
uh, I can remember some funny things from PWG, like the time where the where Jushin Liger was there and everyone stuck and wrestlers were sticking their thumbs up each other's bums.
Yep, yep. I was actually just talking about that with Delmy and Rip when I was over their house today doing legs. So that exact thing
uh,
came up. We were all kind of
I,
laughing at the wrestlers who take themselves real seriously and don't do things like that, and saying like, you know what, if it was good enough for Liger, like it's good enough for anybody.
right,
Like,
if I remember correctly, it was Liger, Tommy and Tommaso Ciampa, or some other ones I
it
can't
was it
remember.
was like a 10-man tag. Like I believe Chuck Taylor was in it. Like it was a lot of people. Hero Robotics says in the chat, I'm wearing my Perry Von Vicious tee at the moment. I think it's currently my favorite T-shirt I own. Thanks. That's a design that's the first design I've sold in years that I actually just designed all on my own. I had one years ago that when I was still the rich guy persona that I had designed. Um, but this one is the first one where I've actually just sat down and whole cloth done it myself.
I still, I still can't believe you had a rich guy gimmick,
Hey, got to start somewhere.
right? I mean, look,
I'm still figuring out exactly what the lore is around that gimmick going away and me becoming the human monster truck. Like, is it a thing of like I used to be rich and then I spent all my money on monster trucks, or is it like the new Perry killed the old Perry? Is there some
or
crossover? Is there some crossover between Dave and Perry? Like,
hmm,
I've yet to really determine how that all happened.
ooh, I have an idea. You
Tell me.
you got into a fight with Bob Chandler, and he
He won.
used a and used a crap, used the door handle to the original Bigfoot and knocked you out.
I think that's perfect. Lost my mind, became the human monster truck. It would make sense that Bob Chandler had created me. Uh,
Right?
Hero Robotics still talking about the T-shirt. Says it's fabulous. I love it on the heather red as well. Talking about the design because it's on sort of a bespeckled heather red color. He says it looks like a really awesome throwback design, which is exactly what I was going for. aiming for it to look like the old like retro 70s like national parks like postcards. And it took a lot of work, but I think I kind of got there. I think I kind of hit what I was going for. He also, Herobotic is also throwing out some ideas on the lore of my character, saying, maybe I discovered my lineage from Uncle Sid and abandoned my past for a true future. Uh,
That would
that's
be
not
cool.
that's
I
not bad. That's not bad. I mean,
right? You
there
could.
is
I mean,
if you look around, you can find there's a great picture of Uncle Sid in front of a monster truck, uh, kind of like just
oh,
soaking up and the ability to pose in front of. And I can't even tell what truck it is in the picture. It's very much like hidden. He's like right in front of it.
that's really cool. Maybe. Oh, maybe you could combine the two.
Yeah, I
the
think
you getting into a fight with Bob Chandler and him knocking you out with the original Bigfoot store handle, and then um Uncle Sid coming to you in your visions, trying in your while you're knocked out, telling you to embrace your heritage.
All right, let's see here. I just made my way through playing all the new trucks that came out: Soldier Fortune, Black Pearl, Captain's Curse, and Digatron. So I'm
Which
gonna go
one's your
pick.
favorite?
Boy, that's a tough question. I think for looks, I think I like Black Pearl the best. I like that cool square body. I like the way that the rear fender is kind of tucked into the frame, the way that they kind of have to do when the trucks get beat up over the course of the weekend. But I think Digatron was the most fun to drive. Um, all right, so I got to pick a different one, and I know you're going to tell me to pick a Midwest truck. What truck do you think I should play as?
Which one haven't you used yet?
Oh gosh, on this stream, pretty much none of them. But you know what though? It's your birthday coming up. You can pick whichever one you like.
You should already know which one I'm going to pick.
Yeah, I know. You want Avenger.
Yep.
Now, and he doesn't have any alternate looks, right? Does he? Oh, he
Nashville
does.
World Finals.
Oh, so am I classic or am I World Finals?
Um, gotta go with the classic.
Classic it is.
I I really wish they would have added the Truck Avenger to it.
I mean,
Maybe,
it's yeah, maybe an eventual DLC.
right? Maybe they'll be releasing a lot of like different stuff along with the Hawaii expansion.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the kind of game where they've got a lot left untapped in it. Like they've given us a lot, but it feels like there's a lot more to come.
Right? Especially Truck Creator. I mean, it's something a lot of players want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we're gonna see that. I think they like having I like they like having the control of it being their trucks you play as. Because then the game
Right?
also serves as like a bit of a almost like a TV commercial for their toys.
But nonetheless, it's still an enjoyable game.
Oh, it's a great game. I've had a blast. All right,
Hot
there we
Wheels
go.
Monster Truck game comes out this week.
Is that this week?
Yeah, it's in 3 days.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to snag that and try it out. Are you getting it?
I'll probably get it. I'll
Okay.
probably get it a little later than usual, but I'll try to get it.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of have to. Like it feels like sort of a must do for this channel.
Right?
I just hope that it's good because it's hard it's hard to say. Like I've seen the previews of what it's going to look like, and it might be a lot of fun, but I don't know. It also looks a little bit goofy and cartoony and not really much like a monster truck game.
It's more arcadey,
Yeah, which I mean, that can be fun too, but I don't know.
right? I
Yeah, I'm,
mean,
I'm trying to
it's
reserve judgment.
It's from the same company that made Monster Jam Battlegrounds, and there was another game, Monster Jam game they made.
Oh,
I
was it
don't remember
Urban
what the
Assault?
name of it was. No, that was made by Activision or Ubisoft, one of the two.
Yeah, Herobotic backing me up that he says I need to get that game right away when it comes out for the stream, saying you got to strike while the iron is hot with these games, and he's right. Anytime there's something new in one of these games, when I share it to YouTube, it gets wild views compared to everything else. So, uh,
So
just the other day when they had the two new characters in the Ninja Turtle game and I played as them, threw that up on YouTube and it got like 10 times the views my normal videos do.
holy cow,
Yeah. Sometimes you just get one that really flies, you know.
right? So I have two more trucks left to collect for my my diecast series for next year.
Do you have you picked out which ones you want?
I I am oof. Of course, I'm going to want to get frickin' Boogie Van.
Yeah, that's been way up on the list for a while. Same for me.
Unfortunately, it's sold out on Amazon.
Yeah, might have to eventually just turn to eBay, but you never know. I keep an
Right?
eye on Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes people have like lots of their loose toys that they're just getting rid of.
It's true. I was looking at Marketplace a few days ago, and I didn't really see any in my area.
Hmm. No, you never know when they're gonna pop up. They'll surprise you.
I also want to get, of course, like I said, I want to get Carolina Crusher so I can do a rematch between Tom Mitz and Gary Porter.
Yep.
This time I'll probably have Gary Porter win because last time they faced off, Gary Porter won that, and Monster Jam just gave the win to Tom Mitz just to set up Mitz versus Anderson.
See, but to me, Porter Anderson is a great setup too. You know,
Right?
that's
Well,
a classic story. Like that was always, you know,
at least,
these are the two North Carolina trucks, the two Tar Heels.
and at least Porter ended up driving for Anderson.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of the guys wound up driving for Anderson. You know, Chuck Popkin, who was the original driver of Excalibur. You know, later
I
on
always
when
thought his name was Porkin. That's how I've always heard it pronounced.
so it's
Charlie Porkin.
Paulkin, and I remember the announcers back in the day pronouncing it Popkin. A big save there. Almost lost it. Whew.
Speaking of Monster Jam Battlegrounds, the most memorable thing about that game was that it had Scott Douglas in it.
Yeah, I love that. Like that was something I always loved about the old Monster Truck Madness games. Was they had Army Armstrong, you know, one of the original like weekly announcers for Monster Trucks, and he was in the games. They actually just had him back when they did the TNT Monster like reunion show. I think it was summer before last. They had him back announcing live for that, which was really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still.
Go ahead.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry for cutting you off.
Oh no,
I am.
go right ahead.
I'm still surprised that Cliff Starbird still owns Monster Vet.
Monster Vet, uh, Frankenstein, and oh gosh, what's the other
Wild
one?
Stang.
Wild Stang, yeah. Wild Stang is the only one he hasn't completely refurbished. It's still in rough shape.
Dang.
But yeah, it's crazy that those are still there. Like, those are trucks from like the earliest days of monster trucks. And there's a few trucks like that that are over at the Monster Truck Hall of Fame and Museum in Indiana. Um, Specifically, the fact that they have the King Kong truck is crazy, and it's like fully restored.
Wow.
Yeah, I
I
know.
wonder if we'll ever.
Yeah, I know.
Wonder if we'll
Terry.
ever. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know Terry Woodcock from Freedom Racing, which is the place that currently runs the Cyclops truck and Unnamed Untamed, which are also, great throwback trucks. Terry's working on building a replica clone of the original Rolling Thunder.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's one I would have to see in person because any of the trucks that were on that original Return of the Monster Trucks special, I gotta see as many of them as I can. And I still haven't seen Bigfoot 1 in person, but I know that it's in St. Louis and it's on display unless they bring it out for events. So if I get that, I mean, technically it was Bigfoot 4 that was racing at that event, but you know, that's really not here or there. Bigfoot 4, of course, has been restored, but not as Bigfoot 4 because
What?
it later went on to live a life as the first iteration of Snakebite.
Huh.
And they recently restored it as Snakebite 1, and they unveiled it this year at the Bigfoot open house.
That's still a truck I want to get too.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Snake Bite.
I have a couple of the recently released snake bites. They had one in particular that I really want, and it's not one that looks like the real snake bite, which is totally not my normal. Like, for me, normally, I want the ones that look canonically like the real truck.
Right?
But they released a special one. It's the same body, same chassis as the ones that Hot Wheels put out, but it's painted like the 1991 Bigfoot Champions snake bite that Hot Wheels made. That was just this like red to yellow fade with this weird font that didn't look anything like Snakebite's font. They took that design that only existed on that one toy and they put it on the new one. And I want it so bad because I have a bunch of that Snakebite, that old school one. So to
So
have the
it's
new version,
basically up gone.
I was gonna say to have the new version would be really cool to go right next to it.
So it's basically a throwback to an older toy, which that's
Yeah.
really freaking cool.
Yeah, yeah, and to me it feels like such an inside reference that it feels sort of like an inside joke. Like I feel like most people who see it in the store won't know. I mean, most people who see Snakebite in the store now don't know what Snakebite is because they haven't had them out on the road racing in almost a decade. But the people who do know Snakebite, some of them might see that design and think like, "What is this?" Because it really doesn't look like any version of Snakebite that ever ran.
I well, you know how much of a big NASCAR fan I am, right?
Yep, yep.
And well, Kyle Petty used to be sponsored by Hot Wheels, and one of the things I really want to see happen is Hot Wheels getting permission from the Petty estate and NASCAR to make a monster truck version of old of Kyle Petty's old number 44 Hot Wheels Pontiac.
Oh, I could see that being really cool. I mean, I'd like to see Richard Petty's vehicle done as a monster truck. It's the old 43, if I
Superbird.
recall correctly, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the that would be freaking awesome too, especially as a 2-pack.
Yeah, this is why Mattel needs to hire us to come work for Hot Wheels.
Right?
I
I
got
am.
to meet some of the designers for Mattel's Hot Wheels series. The first time I was invited as a guest to the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks tour, they invited me. They reached out and said, we know who you are. We like what you do. Would you like to come as part of our media day? And you can vlog and sit in one of the trucks and interview one of the drivers. And I was like, yeah, I'd love that. And then they said, great, we'll have one of our media people reach out to you directly to set everything up. And when they did reach out, they said, hey, I was looking on your Instagram. Do you really design these? And they attached a couple pictures of my monster truck toys that I'd made for Perry. And I said, yeah, I do. Just something I do for wrestling. And they said, great, we'd like to introduce you to some of our designers while you're here. Bring a couple of them to show them. So I did, and they were talking to me, and they've stayed in touch ever since. They have really cool Instagram pages where they share like behind the scenes work, designing the toys for Hot Wheels, and not just the monster trucks, but like Hot Wheels vehicles in general.
That is sick.
Yeah, they're a great follow on Instagram, but the experience of meeting them was a lot of fun. They were, sort of one of them said specifically they were very impressed with the level of detail I was getting from essentially what was the sort of beginner 3D printer. But it's you can get good results from any tool if you use it correctly.
Right. Speaking of Hot Wheels monster trucks, I know I showed you the picture of the new ones I got this past weekend.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Remind me, who was it?
um, Mega Rex and Tiger Shark.
That's right. You got the hauler ones, right? The ones the like six wheel guys.
Yeah, I'm also going to use those as competition trucks too, as
Oh
like
yeah.
their own trucks.
Well, I mean, they're just
So,
that's such a great idea for a model of truck. Like that's such a good idea for a toy. It looks so cool, and it's like hefty and has a lot of like body to it. So like, especially if you think like a little kid playing with it, like that's gonna be an absolute go-to toy.
right. I mean, the Mega Rex six wheel version is a lot heavier than the Tiger Shark one.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that necessarily, but I guess it is sort of like a bulkier body style. All right.
my
Now
my
I gotta
roommate
start finding some
surprised.
of these challenges here because I've run through most of the levels, but I haven't been unlocking anything. But yeah, you said that was a gift from your roommates, right?
Yeah, my roommate actually made me tear up because it was just one of those surprises that were like, holy hell! But I had help him out a lot, so he figured he would pay me back.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. Let's see. Finish log, complete challenges, still on the road advanced. I don't know what that is. Cover. Oh, okay. I'm reading through the challenges to see what I need because I still need to unlock Wild Side and Sparkle Smash.
Um, go to the main menu.
Yeah.
Crap, I'm gonna have to get on Monster Jam Showdown real quick and help.
Yeah, no worries.
I
It looked like when I was here we go. Let's go here. It looks like for Sparkle Smash, I need it says complete the challenge. This is the way. Complete all challenges in the first steps section. So that's I gotta back out and then go see all those things. But for Wild Side, it
think,
looks like it might just be a certain amount of airtime.
yeah, basically in miles driven and whatnot.
Ah, well, it says right now I'm at 1,488,000 and change, and I need 1,640 miles and change. So that shouldn't be too hard to do. You know, I'm gonna do one random track and then come back and see if those numbers changed.
They do every time you do an event.
All right, I'm switching trucks up. What's another? Is there another Midwest truck I should pick? Because I did Avenger already.
X.
Nice. Let's see. Does Axe have other looks? Nope. Just
No.
Axe. Axe it is. All right. I'll throw in some kind of racing challenge here because that'll rack up some miles and we'll see how that does. So yeah, figure eight racing. That's a fair number of miles in one of those. Maybe. I don't know.
When you go back when you go back to the main menu, hit the start button, the one
hmm
with the 3 lines, and hit X to customize your profile, and you all you gotta do is change the background and icon,
Oh, is
and
that is that part of
that's pretty much the challenge.
oh which for Sparkle Smash?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well I can probably do that. That sounds easy enough. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh no, oh no. This race is going very sideways. Oh, now Axe is next to Vendetta, and I can't tell them apart. Well,
It's easy to tell them apart,
I don't know. Pretty similar. I mean, it's easy to tell them apart when they're still solid, but you know, right now they're both so smashed up. There's no body left. Boy, I am doing terribly in this figure eight race. Just abysmal.
still. I'm still bummed that we still have to wait a whole month for Grandma Digger.
Hey, but it's good though. If they gave it all out at once, you get it, you get tired of it, you want something new. They're just spacing it out for us. It's good.
Right?
Maybe. I don't know.
I was just really excited. I'm still excited for Grandma Digger.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
it's a shame that it's the it's still the regular like tube frame, everything, just the like the World Finals fake body that they did. But I'll take it. It's better than not having it.
right, right. Not everyone can have the Max Box version of Gravedigger, Perry.
Well, I mean, with enough patience and keeping a close eye on eBay, you probably could. They don't come up
Right?
that often because apparently that particular set didn't sell as well as the earlier Matchbox series. So there's not as
That
many
was
floating around
before
out there.
Mattel bought Max Box.
That's right. That was back when Matchbox and Hot Wheels were in fierce competition, whereas now they're both owned by the same company.
Right?
So not a lot of competition to be had. All right. I'm gonna go see how many miles that put on toward the release of Wild Side here. Yeah, that put on some miles. Not a ton, but a few. All right.
Something
Well,
else that really makes me think. Um, Before Spin Master got the rights to the Monster Jam license, they had the
mhm.
rights to the NASCAR license, and I think I I'm really bummed that they didn't really do much with it except for just make the normal diecast.
Okay. So tell me again. I'm just backing up for just a second here. What am I doing with the challenge to get Sparkle Smash?
Oh,
Walk me through it
you
again.
got um. Are you back on the main menu?
I was, and then I hit the three bars that took me into my Monster Jam profile. Is that right?
Um, yes, hit X on Edit Profile, and
Okay. Gotta change
just
the background.
and then change the background, the icon, and other stuff, and that
Ah,
that should be enough.
let's see. That one. Ooh. Ooh, I want to be that. Let's see. Then we'll go with. No, I like that one. That's a good one. Okay, good. Oh, and celebrations. I get to pick which celebration I do. Let's see. I want the. Oh man. Oh, it's a hard choice. All right, we'll go with that. And that's
Which
everything.
one did you pick? And that I
Ah,
think that's all you gotta do for
yeah,
that one.
I picked all the simplest ones. Oh, yeah, that did. That unleashed Sparkle Smash. Hell yeah. Nice. Thank you, Bobby. I would not
You're
have found
welcome.
it otherwise.
I basically just changed my icon and background to a mix of Avenger and Gravedigger.
All right, let's see here. I think I've completed all the tracks now. Just looking to see any missing points on any of the levels. If I don't see any, then I'm gonna go pick just a random. I think we're gonna go Death Valley Stadium, and
I
I'm
um
gonna
I
pick.
think
Mm-hmm.
you I think you I don't remember which area it's in, but you have to race Max D, Gravedigger, um
I don't
I'm
think I've.
kind of having brain
They
fart.
don't look unlocked to me. Like I don't see them on the maps yet, but maybe they are there.
Oh,
All right, but
but
let's
that's the
find
final
where's.
race of
Okay, you know I do have Max D already.
no, no,
He's
I
already.
meant like
Oh,
the
they're the
final
final
race.
bosses.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I was gonna say I was pretty sure I had those trucks unlocked. All right, now where is Sparkle Smash? Did I just go right by it a couple times? I bet I did.
It's one of the. It's on the first page.
Oh, that's I wasn't going back far enough. Oh, it looks so good. Does it have alternate looks? Nope, just the, I mean that makes
No.
sense. It doesn't really need other looks.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
pretty sure.
Putting some miles on here. We're closing in on enough miles to have Wild Side.
I wonder if they're retiring Soldier Fortune because of
It certainly doesn't seem like they brought it back.
right.
Here we go.
Oh, Grizzly, Glit.
Oh, we got the Grizzly raid happening. I took my eyes off the chat for a second and I didn't notice.
Eh,
Welcome to the party, guys. I was really happy with the reception to the Weird Al stream yesterday. People seem to like it. I got a few messages from folks, so that was pretty cool. I'll have it up on YouTube soon enough.
um, I'm hoping I win the giveaway.
Right now you're in the lead, but we'll see what comes up
Yes.
through YouTube. Grizz, I'm doing great. How are you guys? What were you guys playing over on your channel before you hopped over here? I do kind of love the innovation of having the inflatable horn and mane on the Sparkle Smash truck in real life. Like that's so smart.
right?
Because from a distance it looks so good, and you're never really that up close to it anyway during racing. And it means that it's one less piece that gets destroyed that they have to keep replacing.
I I was watching a video on YouTube a while ago about someone complaining about the way Monster Jam has been over the past few years,
Hmm.
and complaining about how they're making it more kid friendly and blah blah blah, and were complaining about how they're turning toys that were that the diecast into actual trucks.
Hey, I mean,
Like,
it's called show business, right? Got to make that money.
right?
I see. Grizz says they were playing the new Dragon Ball game. How is that? I bet that's pretty good. I feel like these head-to-head races are not going to add enough miles on quickly enough for what I need here.
They
You know, so
really don't, but are they the normal head-to-head races, or are you doing the extreme head-to-head?
I was in the normal,
Uh, I
so
mean,
I'm
the
gonna.
extreme head-to-head add does add a little bit more, but not that much.
Well, maybe they are all extreme head-to-head. They do say extreme head-to-head on them. All right, but I'm gonna let's do one of the like not the horde. Those end too quickly if I do well. Let's do the circuit racing. That'll put some miles on. Oh, Grizz just says no ads. Where's Joey Nails? He should be here gifting subs to
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't showed up yet. I'm surprised that Graveyard Brett hasn't showed up. They've been in the stream a lot too.
It's possible that they've been here and just lurking.
That's true.
You know,
I
sometimes
mean,
you watch the stream, you don't have much to say.
right?
I get it. Oh, yeah, yep. Just confirmed in the chat. Just here and definitely lurking. Probably here the entire time.
Right. I'm still surprised we haven't seen the great Joey Nails yet.
Well, you know, he's got stuff to do. And once again, confirmed. Yes, here the entire time. Well, I'm glad you're here. Oh, and Grizz is back from the ad break. Uh-oh. I just lost my. I was all the way up to second place and I blew it. It's because I'm reading the chat instead of worrying about what I'm doing.
um, when I got home from the Monster Truck Throwdown event last
Hmm.
month, I was like, huh. I wonder if I can. Oh, because the Blockhead diecast is actually a lot like the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks diecast.
Yeah. They look like they're very similar castings.
Yeah, the tires the tires are just the same.
Oh, cool.
I won.
Yeah,
I
there
now I
was a
want.
time when I had planned to take all of my modern diecasts because I don't really like the scale and style of the modern ones. And because I had designed my own replicas of the old Matchbox chassis and wheels that I could stretch and resize to fit anything, I was gonna just slowly take the bodies off all of my modern ones and make them look like they were part of the old Matchbox set. And
That would be cool.
then the collection grew a little more quickly than I had anticipated, and it doesn't seem terribly feasible anymore. Like that would be a lot of rebuilding.
Oh, right.
And some of them, you know, some of them are trucks that never looked like that. So it would be kind of weird, you know, seeing like Max D on that chassis feels a little unnatural.
Hey,
But
You gotta be
I
weird
did take
sometimes.
the Cyclops truck that Spin Master released because that was originally, that's an old truck before they did a new
Right?
version of it. But the new version looks just like the old version. What I did with that is I took my chassis that I made of the Matchbox Superchargers, but the old Cyclops ran on dually tractor tires that, once you put two of them next to each other, it's a lot like a monster truck tire, but it's different. So I took the scale measurements of the Matchbox tires and I figured out what the ratio was compared to a real monster truck tire, so I knew how they were, it was sort of cartoony, so I knew what the difference was. And I applied those same ratios to the tractor tires. So I made my own dually printed tractor tires that were also the same weird scale that Matchbox was, and printed a chassis with a little driver in it and like a whole like bed and everything, and took the body off of it and put it on that. It came out amazing. I'm really proud of it. Like it was one of the first
And
big
that's
3D
awesome.
projects I did. And I fully like went in and painted everything, and I'll throw a picture up on Twitter at some point. I had one a long time ago, but yeah, it's something I'm very proud of because it was one of the first major undertakings that I looked into once I got a 3D printer, and it came out great. But yeah, I'd thought
And
about doing a lot more of that.
I wish I had enough money to pay someone to take an idea of mine and make into an actual monster truck for me.
Yeah, what kind of ideas do you have for that? Talk to me.
Ooh,
I'm not going to steal them. I just
um,
want to know what they are.
well, one of them is a monster CUDA, which
Oh,
is
you
a
told me about this.
Plymouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took heavy inspiration from Monster Vet. Like, well, of course, me being me, I was like, well, of course I'm going to have to do certain things different and whatnot.
Oh yeah, you got to
Mainly
make
with
it
the
your own.
font, right? Mainly with the font, I was going to have it look more a mix between goth and metal.
Oh, that's cool.
My second idea was just a dirt late model monster truck with
That's cool.
like I said, I'm just a big racing nerd. I love all kinds of racing.
Now, did you ever see Mike Welch, who famously made Big Pete and a lot of those sort of the weird trucks from back then?
Yeah,
Uh,
I've
he,
saw the sprint car
yep,
monster truck.
that's
That one was
exactly what
my
I was gonna
favorite.
ask. Yeah, that's exactly what I
That
was
one
gonna
was my
ask
favorite.
about. It's a very cool design, but also looks a little bit
Right.
scary because that's like early that style of frame for a monster truck, and it doesn't look that safe.
I don't think it was ever in competition, was it?
It definitely raced a little bit, not much. It made a few appearances, and back then, all you did with appearances was a car crush and a race. So he definitely did some racing, but it was like small fair shows, that kind of thing. It wasn't featured on like TNT races or anything like that. And in fact, I don't even know if there's any like footage of it because it was definitely not on TV.
I was reading that it actually appeared in a spicy video.
Oh, that one did?
Super Sprint, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I was like,
A monster truck in a
well.
spicy video. That's an idea.
I had to keep it PG. I'm sorry.
No, I assume you're talking about a cooking show like Emeril Lagasse back in the day. All those spicy Cajun
Oh,
spices.
I now I just had a brain fart. I had another. Oh yeah, a uh, a monster truck inspired by Asuka. of
Oh
course.
yeah, yeah. We had talked about the potential for that. Yeah.
I may or may not have I'm not gonna say it.
Well, I was gonna say I imagine that she could at any time be a hidden character in virtually any video game because you know about her career beyond wrestling, right?
Yeah. She actually did mocap for crap, Virtua Fighter 5.
So the way she got the mocap gig is because her other career, she's actually a coder. Like she legit
Yeah.
works on video games.
She was also sponsored by Xbox too before she went to WWE.
Yep. Yeah,
She
that is a smart woman putting together a hell of a plan because you don't see a lot of wrestlers taking the effort to get that kind of stuff going for them.
right. She also has a hair. She's also got two hair salons.
Yeah,
One
you
of
got
them is
once
in
once once you're making that Fed money, you gotta diversify.
well, the hair salon she had in Yokohama was way before she joined WWE.
Hey, even better. Yeah, that
It
that
was
that
all
that
that
seems right.
it was all that wrestling money and working as a freelance coder and
Hmm.
um article writer for Xbox, along with her spicy modeling stuff.
That's pretty common among the Joshis anyway. They have whole series of that stuff. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's pretty common among a lot of the female performers in this country as well. A lot of indie wrestlers do that, male and female. It's a great source of income for them.
Mariah May used to do it. I think
Yep.
she still does it occasionally.
Tony Storm, if memory serves, also.
Yeah. Um, Mesha Slamovich does it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, even Delmy had an OnlyFans for a while. If there's people willing to pay that money, make that money.
Right. I had an idea for an OnlyFans. It was
Is
basically just a parody of it, though.
is it just a
Like
website where you
I.
show off different like ceiling fans?
Oh God. Oh no, that was another. I mean, like an actual OnlyFans. It was going to be. I was going to have the lewdest titles for content for people to buy. It's just me eating and drinking something.
Hey, there's people who'd be into that.
Oh my
You know,
God.
there's an
But
audience there's an audience for everything.
I'm pretty sure people would just look at it and just laugh,
And hey, maybe they
uh,
need that, right?
right? I mean, I know that's something that helps me get through the day is laughing,
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, there's an audience for everything. I mean,
right?
I as a weird nerdy toy making video game playing human monster truck pro wrestler have somehow found an audience. So I'll take it.
Right?
It's I'm super excited for this upcoming grind. The last one was great. People were yeah, it was my first match back in their main venue in East Hampton in over a year. So I got a great response, and that was really cool. So yeah, it's nice to know
Hmm.
that the folks miss you when you're not around.
How can I watch the anniversary show?
So it's not going to be live anywhere. Grind can't do live. Their building doesn't have the kind of Wi-Fi or signal capabilities. But after the fact, all of the matches, one by one, probably within a week or two of the show, will be going up on YouTube. And certainly,
Oh,
I will be sharing that out when it goes up. They've been putting everything on YouTube now. Along with if you're a subscriber to Indie Wrestling TV, IWTV, they'll have it on there as well. But It'll probably be on YouTube first, and on YouTube it's just individual matches, so you can kind of pick and choose your way through the show. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the Pro Wrestling Grind YouTube, you should. Their YouTube handle is much like their handle on Twitter, Grind Puro, and it's a great little channel. It's for a long time they were only putting stuff on IWTV, and I believe in the coming months they're going to be uploading some of the back catalog to YouTube. So that's pretty exciting.
Hmm. So I get to see more of your matches on YouTube then.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there's a few here and there, a few pretty good ones. There's a few for Limitless Wrestling, especially during the pandemic shutdown era when they had a series called The Road. There's a few matches from that that are right before the beginning of the Human Monster Truck phase, and right at the end of the phase where I was just known as Uncle Sid's favorite nephew.
Did you
But
cut promos like Uncle Sid?
oh man, very much so, and they were great. I got great feedback from other wrestlers on those. They loved those. Sometimes I kind of miss those, and I've thought about like, well, if the situation ever called for it, I feel like Uncle Sid's favorite nephew is sort of like my version of Finn Balor's demon. Like any
Right?
minute I could snap back into that persona.
Oh, yeah. Next time you challenge for the Grand World Championship, you should do that.
Yeah, could be a little while because I know as long as Mike Skyros is champion, I'm probably not getting a shot because Delmy and Rip, the booking committee, have decided that that match is cursed because tried
Yes.
they tried to run it 3 times, and every time it wound up not happening. The first time they had to cancel a show for weather. The snow made it so that it was impossible to get in or out of the venue. The second time, they had canceled a bunch of shows because they needed a few months to get some things in order to run properly. So they put things on hiatus for a couple months. And then when it was finally supposed to happen, I wound up having COVID the week of the show, so I had to bail. So
I
they've
mean,
tried.
that promo you cut on Mike was fucking awesome.
That got a great response from the other wrestlers in particular because that's not anything I normally say.
Was
I
Mike okay with the part where you said that about the stomach bug and you hope it fucking kills him?
I uh I actually to pull back the curtain a little, I messaged him beforehand and said, "Hey, this is something I'm thinking I'm going to say in the promo. Is that are you all right with that?" And he was like, "Dude, yeah, of course. That's amazing. People are going to love that." And he's right. Like, in character, I would say I don't like him very much, but Mike Skyros is a professional, and he has a great mind for this stuff. So certainly
Right?
someone you
I was
can
going
bounce ideas off of.
to say, what is he like outside of the ring?
Um, he's great. I mean, after grind shows, we all go back to the Bison residence, Delmy and Rip's house. They have got a big place where a bunch of the wrestlers who were in town for the show, they all crash there, and there's tons of space for it. And Johnny Torres, our fearless announcer who was on with me last week when we were watching Jet Li and Kodai matches, always orders a pile of pizza and wings for everybody, and the whole roster comes back to Rip's house, and we all hang out and eat food and throw the worst wrestling matches we can find up on the screen and have a good laugh together. And
Oh
Mike
my
Skyros
goodness.
is always a fixture in that and always having fun. Andy Brown is always there, even though he's been injured and on the shelf for some time, but he makes the ride up with his significant other, our other announcer, Alyssa Marino, and so they're always there. Delmy and Rip, it's their house, so they're hosting. Torres is there. Everyone on the roster basically comes. Like there's usually a handful of guys that got to get out of town right away, but generally speaking, everyone's there, and it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun after this next one because Kodai and Jet Li will be there.
I still can't believe Mark Sterling used to be a wrestler.
I mean, in a lot of ways, he still is.
But this time he's only getting his behind handed to him.
Well, and it wasn't too much unlike that back then either. But Mark Sterling is actually a phenomenal wrestler. He's got incredible wind, like a gas tank that never ends. He very famously on the Indies would do a thing where he would just take clothesline after clothesline after clothesline after clothesline from people, and he would just bump and feed, bump and feed, bump and feed, and he'd never be out of breath. He would do it as a running
Dang.
gag. Um,
Now
he also made it a thing for him that when everyone was talking about Suplex City, he would take his opponents to Snapmare City, and he would just start hitting snapmares on everybody, which is
yeah,
not a deadly move in any way, but you can do a lot of them.
yeah, he did that when you showed the match with you, Johnny,
Yes.
DPB, and him.
One of our favorite matches together, because that was so much fun to put together. The real bummer is that because of copyright, I had to start the video late and skip the entrances because we all had very appropriate music for our entrances, and it was great. I was still the rich snob at the time, and my entrance music started as Beethoven's Third, the dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun, and then it would drop into Puddle's Pity Party's cover of the song Royals, and that was my entrance music at the time. So for that show, my music started with dun 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 dun, and then there was a record scratch, and the Star Wars theme blasted in like super loud. And I came out in full Jedi garb with the hood up so you couldn't see who I was, and then whipped the lightsaber out and pulled the hood back, and everyone cheered for the Jedi. And when my hood came back, it was a chorus of boos because I was one of the top bad guys in the company. And the
Which
audience.
promotion was this?
This was a company that still runs out here. I don't work for them presently, but it's full of a ton of my friends. They actually run the same building as Grind, like
Huh.
on opposite weeks in the month. It's a company called Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling, PVP. Mark Sterling was a
Hmm.
regular fixture there. I'm trying to think. There's been a couple other folks who came through there that were pretty notable names later on. But yeah, that was sort of my landing spot when I moved back from California because they did I oh I'm so close to that goal. I need to do like a couple more. If I can do like one of the figure eight races or something, that'll get me there. Sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, a lot of great names came through there, and it was my landing spot when I moved back from California. It was run by a kid that trained at the same school as me. This a great wrestler, Justin the Hammer Tunis. Um, and his very good friend, my very good friend from my training days, Brad Hollister, was their heavyweight champion when I first moved back. He actually recently was their champion again. He had regained the belt after a few years. But yeah, they're a nice little promotion out here as well. I don't work for them presently, so I've not been to their shows. But yeah, it's still a roster full of a bunch of my friends, and yeah, it seems like they still do very well.
Kodai's opponent been announced yet?
Not yet. The So far we have Jet Wi's match against Ryan Mooney. We have the trios match of the T2T team versus myself and the rest of the Bison office and Mad. And then I think there's at least two other matches that are happening on the show. They announced another singles, and I'm blanking on it. Um, it's God, maybe it's Jay Freddy's match. Yeah, I can't. I for some reason I'm completely blanking on the other match that they've announced. I'm doing a great job of promoting for them right now. Just terrible.
Um, as as manager, I suggest my client Joey Nails.
So I will say Joey Nails is as his manager, I'm sure you're aware. Joey Nails is not currently taking wrestling bookings.
I know.
He stepped back from in-ring at the moment, instead deciding to focus on getting his training all in order so that when he is in the ring, he's, providing the best product, the best version of himself that he can. And I applaud that decision because that's not an easy decision to make once people have started letting you on shows to step back.
True. And he seems really hardworking too.
He is. Of the students at his school, he's the only one that's, bothered to keep up with the workouts that me and Rip gave them. So, with any luck, he'll start seeing some good results from that.
Right? And
I mean,
plus he's
he must be doing all the workouts. He's too tired to come watch the stream.
plus his Department of Transportation job too.
Yep, and that's important. This is a thing that we've found a lot with. There's a large contingent of Maine wrestlers, specifically Maine for some reason, who do not have their driver's license or a car, even though they're like in their mid to late 20s and they live in the middle of nowhere. Like how I don't understand how they're even going to work. Um, but
And I don't.
The fact that Joey Nails has a car, has his license, and has a job so he can pay for gas already puts him light years ahead of many of his contemporaries.
Oh, I'm almost 30 and I still don't have my license or or a car.
Well, yeah, now you have a goal.
It, I've tried to drive before. I've tried to have people show me how to drive, and I end up having panic attacks. So I feel like
Oh,
it's a good thing I don't.
that's a perfectly
Yeah,
acceptable reason, but a lot of these guys don't have that issue.
right. They're
Yeah,
just they're
I, I mentioned my good buddy Brad Hollister, who's a great wrestler, who's can go anywhere he wants to wrestle. He's married with a kid, has never had his driver's license or a car in his life.
huh.
And that's one thing, like if you live in if you live in like the heart of Boston or New York City or something, like sure, you can get around. There's subways, there's walking, like you don't really need a car. I mean, hell, Rip Bison and I got all over town all the time out in Fukuoka, and we didn't have cars. Um, but yeah, I still don't understand fully how he does it, but he manages. So there are ways.
Right.
And particularly in wrestling, the only way you can really get away with that is if you are really good. And in Hollister's defense, he is and has always been really good. Um, when I first met him, he was a no joke, he was 15 years old and came to train at our
Holy
wrestling
cow.
school. He debuted at age 15 and was already better than most of the old vets on the show. Like he was just great from the get-go.
Oh, that
And
sounds like a Japanese thing.
even though Hollister and I really don't get to work together anymore, and in some ways we work with companies that could be seen as competitors to each other. The two of us
Right.
have never had a bad word to say about each other because, I he was someone who was there for me to train with, even though the rest, I had other people in the class, but none of them were dedicated. He would come early so that we could get in the ring and like actually work on stuff, and that mattered to me. And he didn't have a car or a license. He was too young at the time. That excuse is gone now, but didn't have a car or a license. And so I became his de facto ride to practice every practice for 2 years. So, we're two good friends in wrestling that don't see each other often, but we've always got each other's back. In fact,
Right.
at the aforementioned PvP. There was a time there where there was a somewhat inebriated man in the audience who said something to me that I didn't like. I don't even remember what it was. And I said something back to him that was pretty innocuous, but telling him to shut up or whatever. And he took exception to it and started coming toward the ring. And my opponent was ZPB. We were in a strap match, so we were attached to each other. And I was in the middle of beating him down a little bit, and I stopped to watch this guy, and I look and I see ZPB is also watching this guy, because the rule in wrestling: fan comes through the ropes, you send them back hurting. That's not a line they cross. So we're both waiting.
Um,
We're both waiting for this guy to come through the ropes, and he got stopped by our ring announcer. This ring announcer Joanna, who's a tiny little woman, just kept walking in front of him so that he couldn't get by her. Not saying anything, not telling him to stop, just getting in his way, like absent-mindedly on purpose. And so when we realized he wasn't coming, we put our focus back on each other, kept having the match. And then I saw he was still trying to come in the ring, and I looked up the aisle. And Brad Hollister at this point is no longer a little 15-year-old. He is now, by the time this happened, in his late 20s and is covered with tattoos and is 300 pounds of pure muscle with like an incredible amateur wrestling background. Like he had like, college scholarships thrown at him left and right. This dude is a massive machine that'll rip you apart. And he's looking through the curtain, practically snarling, waiting to come out at this guy. So when I say Hollister has my back, I mean it.
um, that just made me think of a tweet that Bam Sullivan once tweeted. He said if a fan ever jumps in the ring during one of my matches, I'm gonna beat their ass in Magic the Gathering. That just got me rolling.
That's really, yeah. Bam Sullivan is a great follow and a great dude. Like I've been around him at a bunch of shows.
Have
Only good
you
things
ever
to say
wrestled
about
him?
him. I haven't. Not many people know it. He's actually also a very talented graphic designer. He does a lot of the graphics for places like Wrestling Open and Beyond Wrestling. And not everyone would know that. Most people just know him for what he does in the ring and maybe for his funny Twitter persona.
And, and clutch your nuts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's a guy who knows his audience because when he started that thing, that was a huge reaction, and wrestlers loved it too.
I first moment I saw that I was like, oh my god,
Pretty good.
that's perfect.
I mean, as someone who just did an entire stream about his adoration for Weird Al Yankovic, I love a good parody, and man, that was a good parody.
Right? Hell, it's so good that I still talk about it a lot.
I remembered it long past when I remembered the thing that it was parodying. Like that thing's forgotten news to everyone, but Bam's shirt still sells really well.
Well, Bam is the creator of the real CYN.
Yep. I mean he's got the more famous one now.
Right? What was the other one? Was it
It was Control
uh
Your Narrative, and it was like a
oh, I thought it
weird
was
like it was like a weird wrestling company for all the canceled wrestlers to
I
go.
thought it was uh, I thought it was Crunch Your Nachos.
No, no, it was this god awful like weird like pseudo right-wing wrestling company for canceled wrestlers.
Uh,
So he made
yeah,
his parody and had a good laugh at them.
and it was fucking perfect. I I really wanted. I was really hoping Bam would have freaking made his own promotion.
I mean, game's not over. A lot of baseball left to play. He could still do it.
I like how the how one of the rules was that every wrestler comes out the headstrong by trapping. There was no exceptions.
Yeah, that's a pretty good gag, man. When I was first in wrestling, like I feel like that song and the big hit from Disturbed were
Down
basically
with the
like,
sickness.
yeah, yeah. There was it felt like there was a rule that there had to be at least one wrestler on every show that used those. And man, I'm glad that people don't use those as much anymore because it was just so overdone.
And knowing how, now
Like,
knowing how both lead singers are, mm,
yeah, less desirable for sure for a lot of reasons.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
at least we still got Tom Morello and other good artists.
Yep. I thought you were going to say Tom DeLonge for a second, and I was like, well, he's a little crazy too, but his crazy's harmless.
No. Um,
Like,
I don't think you saw it in chat yesterday, but I said that less than Jake means that there's the existence of more than Jake.
for a long time, the band that I had with Herobotic in college that was called Sofa versus Couch. Our tagline was, "We are Sofa versus Couch. We are less than or equal to Jake."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it turns out that people aren't all that interested in math jokes when it comes to their bands, but that's okay. You know, there's an audience for everything. If it had been today, if social media had been more prevalent at the time, we might have found our audience. But that was like the
Right?
waning days of MySpace and the early days of Facebook being like something that everyone had.
I I swear MySpace was more emo than anything.
Well, it was a reflection of its time, right?
Right? I mean, I was a cringy 13-year-old emo on MySpace.
See, I'm lucky. The emo phase was slightly after me. Like the stuff that people all want to call emo now. Like we would have been irate that it was called emo back when I was playing in bands. Like for us, emo was a very specific subgenre of like sad downer music. And now people are like, oh yeah, all those emo bands like Simple Plan. And I'm like, no, Simple Plan was a pop punk band. It's all happy songs. What are you talking about? They're not emo. But it
Not
means that
all emo.
all the Spotify playlists are just garbage for that too, because when I go to find like a 2000s pop punk playlist, they try to lump all the emo bands in. So like Evanescence will be on that playlist, and I'm like, no, there's nothing pop or punk about this. Why is this here?
What's wrong? What's wrong with Evanescence? They're a
Th-
good band.
Oh, they're a great band, but they're not a pop punk band.
Eh, that's true. They're not
Yeah,
even emo. They're more goth.
I was gonna say it's a little bit like, you could put Slipknot on the list. Slipknot's a great band, but they're certainly not a pop punk band.
Right? Even though I could actually see Corey Taylor doing pop punk.
He'd be great at. I mean, they'd all be great at it. It's not hard. I was in a pop punk band.
Right?
It's not hard.
Oh, I mean,
I have to be closing in on the miles needed here. It's going to tell me in a second what I'm up to. Of course, it's covered by my ticker, so everyone's just going to have to take my word for it. Ah, oh, I'm so close. 161 or 1,061,610,000 something is what I'm at, and I need 6.4 instead of 6.1. All right, I can do this. What time is it? All right, this is perfect. I'm probably just going to hit it right as time ends on the stream here. Let's jump over here.
after your stream, I'm going to have to take my dog out and have her go to the bathroom before I start my stream.
Oh yeah, what are you streaming tonight? Same game? You also doing Monster Jam?
No, I probably won't be streaming that till the Hawaii expansion because
Hmm.
I got I ended up getting bored just playing it on stream. So I was like, screw it, I'll just play this when the Hawaii. I'll play this on stream when the Hawaii expansion comes out. I'm tonight I am playing World of Outlaws.
Yeah, I had looked at that and had considered downloading it to stream sometime, and I may still, but for now I've got so much undone on the games I have.
Right?
The fact that I still haven't
I
unlocked
am
everything in this game.
I'm wanting to get the new one that just came out last month.
You should.
Uh, I might get that for my birthday.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it sounds like Joey Nails is probably getting Monster Jam Showdown soon. He was telling me it looks like his dad might grab it for him. It's a belated
That's cool.
birthday present. Yeah. His dad refereed one of my matches.
Yeah, you were talking about that. You and him had a pulls off.
Yeah, that's right. There was a picture of it floating around on Twitter.
I wonder if he'll referee your retirement match against Joey Nails.
Yeah, my retirement match again. So I've said for a long time, I think when I'm done, I don't think I'm doing like a retirement match, no big angle, no nothing. Just one day, you'll go online, you will look for Perry Von Vicious, and none of my accounts will exist anymore, and I'll just
Oh,
stop
come on,
showing
what?
up to shows. I'll just quietly disappear, letting the world continue on its own.
So, no more streams, no more fun old school pictures of monster trucks.
No,
The world's going to
I'll
be a.
probably still just do everything. Everyone who I've told I was going to do that to has yelled at me. I've been yelled at by friends I mentioned it to. I've been yelled at by wrestlers that I mentioned it to. I've been yelled at by fans. I've been yelled at by people who are currently in the chat, I believe. No one thinks it's a good idea.
It's not. Hell,
I mean,
especially if I'm going to be. Hell, especially if I'm going to be Joey's manager for that match.
I mean, it nearly happened in Japan.
Why? What happened?
Oh, I was toward the beginning of that tour. I was injured pretty good. I don't know if I've talked about that on stream, but I kept it to myself and told no one.
Huh.
So I was working through like a gnarly injury that I've only just recently found out the extent of it. Um, and the training was really hard, and it was a billion degrees all the time, and it was super humid, and it was just I was jet lagged, so like that was wearing on me. And there was one day where I had it in my mind. I was done. And so we got back from training, and Rip grabbed his stuff and left for the gym ahead of me. And my brain immediately, I just sat on the bed staring at my pile of stuff, thinking, I could pack everything right now. I could call a cab. I could go to the airport. I could get a flight. I would be in the air before Rip's even back from the gym. While I'm at the airport, I can open my phone, just delete all of my accounts, block everyone from wrestling on everything. No one will ever hear from me again. I can just leave right now. And because it was that hard. And I stuck it out mostly because it was easier to do nothing than to do something. So I just kept going. Uh,
Okay, Kenny Omega.
and then the very next day, I found myself thinking the same thing again, and that went on for like a week and a half, where every day I was just like, I could just leave right now, and no one would ever hear from me again. It was it was weirdly a comforting idea. All right, last race
At
here, and I
least you
think this one's
didn't.
this I didn't. I toughed it out. This last race, I believe, will put me over the miles I need for Wild Side, and then maybe I'll do like one quick freestyle as Wild Side. now that I'll have all the trucks finished. I just don't have all their alternate looks yet. So yeah,
Yeah,
still more work to be done, I'm afraid. So anyone watching the
right.
stream who's tired of this game, I've got bad news.
Well, if they're tired of the game, then they don't get your gimmick.
That's true. That's true. Anyone watching this who's tired of this game has tuned into the wrong channel.
It's like it's like someone calling themselves the human race car, and all they do is play racing games.
Funny enough, there was a guy who basically had that gimmick, very famously. If you remember the wrestler Hardcore Holly,
Yeah,
before he was Hardcore Holly, he was Bob Holly, and he did race stock cars in real life. Um, and the gimmick they gave him because of that was they called him Sparky Plug.
yeah,
And
I remember that he was a jobber.
yep, he was a jobber with a race car gimmick. What's funny is he became the first like famous wrestler that I ever wrestled years ago. I was one of his very first matches after he left WWE out in California in
Was this after
2010.
Brock Lesnar tried to kill him?
Well, after that unfortunate botch, yeah, yeah, that was hard. That's hard to watch still. I do like that they gave him a little like storyline out of it though. That was pretty cool.
Right? And
Because he
I mean,
deserved it. He's a
how
really good wrestler. Like how they never did much with him is kind of beyond me. I mean, I know he's a little bit tough to work with, kind of famously, but
right?
like
Was he tough?
no, he was great. Like he loved my silly little shtick. I was just a pale kid who wasn't in shape, so everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna beat you up." No, he was a delight. He was so much fun to work with. Like, yeah, he works a little stiff, but like I gave it back to him and he was happy. He told me after, he's like, "I'm glad you came back on me with this, this, and this." Like he was an absolute delight to work with. I have nothing but good things to say about him. And frankly, a
Didn't
lot
you
of the
also
things.
wrestle?
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, go
Didn't
ahead.
you also wrestle Shotzi?
I did. Yep. When she was still fairly new at the time, at least compared to now.
Was she,
But yeah, she's great. There's very few people I've ever worked with that I have bad things to say about them.
was she
Um,
known as Pizza Cat back then?
that was one of her other gimmicks. She did that somewhere else. But no, she was Shotzi Blackheart, which
Hopefully, if she ever leaves WWE, she can
so sh
continue to keep that name.
so she does have the copyright on that name because she used it for years and years and years before WWE, not just for wrestling, but she used it for modeling and she did like some video work. She had like parts in horror movies and stuff, and she used that name. Yeah, that's her name. She owns that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. She's another one that like, if you follow her on Instagram, you see all the cool like stuff she's doing while she's out injured. And that's because she's very creative and is always looking for like ways to branch out and do different things. So she was in horror movies, she was in music videos for people, she did modeling, and now she's doing like influencer work for both horror companies, toy companies, and also for like theme parks. Like she got flown to all of the different Disney theme parks to cover what they're doing for Halloween. Like they flew
Oh,
her
that's
to
cool.
Japan to cover Tokyo Disney. Like so she went out and just
Oh,
posted to her social media and Disney covered the tab. When she's very
that's.
industrious. Hey, there it is. Wild Side unlocked. We did it.
I'm surprised she hasn't done any like music, like bands and whatnot. Hasn't been a part of a band because she seems like the kind of person that would be.
So she definitely has a little bit. She did lead vocals for a couple tracks for a friend's band in Oakland. I believe there's actually music videos of that you can see. I want to say Oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the girl's name. There's another girl wrestler. She's actually married.
Valavan.
Who?
Valavan. She had a band.
No. This is one who's one of Shotzi's friends in WWE. She's
Oh,
married to oh gosh, I'm gonna forget his name too. But she's married to another one of the wrestlers in WWE. They got signed together. She's the blonde that used to come out as part of his entrance all the time. Um,
Candice. No.
no. But this girl is also like she kind of looks like if Shotzi was a blonde white girl. Like they have a very similar look. And they both were in a music video for a friend of hers band in Oakland, and it turned out that she did the vocals on it.
I know Dakota Kai, back when she was still known as Evie, was in a music video.
That's right. I think I knew that. There's Wildside. Yeah. Now Wildside doesn't have any alternate looks either, right? Nope.
Nope.
All right. Well, we've selected it, and we're gonna do one quick freestyle as Wildside, and then we're gonna call it a stream here.
Gotta make gotta make Zach Gardner proud,
Yep. And I went through all that work to unlock the truck. I might as well use it one time.
right?
Oh, what a great looking
I
truck
am.
too.
I have a prediction for who might win the Racing World Championship at next year's World Finals.
Yeah. Who are you thinking?
This person has already won 2 championships, but both were in freestyle.
Ooh.
And it might be
Yeah. Let's hear it. I want to hear. Because I'm not gonna guess it.
Mr. Excitement.
Oh yeah. Of course, that would be your guess.
Well, I think either Jim Kohler's going to get his first racing championship, or Kristen Anderson's going to shock the world and become the first woman since Medusa to win a Racing World Championship.
That's right. I forgot about the year Medusa won. I had the DVD of that at one point.
Yeah, she beat Dennis Anderson.
Yeah. What a story there. That's crazy, right? Like good for
Yeah.
her.
She went from being one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time to being one of the greatest female monster truck drivers of all time.
Yep. And I mean her wrestling career in particular is one I really appreciate. If you've seen the Dump Matsumoto series on Netflix, uh
Wait, she faced Dump before?
she did. She faced Dump. She faced Bull Nakano. She faced Aja Kong. Like that whole crew of like big heavyweight brawling Joshis. Like that
Uh,
was they
does,
were all her foils.
doesn't Dump still wrestle?
No. So Dump. Well, yes and no. Dump in the wake of how popular this special was. Hey, Joey Nails just showed up as we're about to cut the stream.
Finally.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, buddy, good to see you, Joey. Um, but yeah, she is doing one like surprise return match, which is crazy.
Elijah Kong's wrestles still. I've actually watched her
Yep.
her match against Shoko Nakajima. That was a really good match.
She actually wrestled on the very first Kyushu Pro Wrestling show after me and Rip Bison came home. She was on the very next
Well,
one. She had a singles match against Baten,
did
which is
she win?
almost certainly. Baten is a comedy wrestler who very rarely wins a match. So I believe the match was mostly her bashing him in the head with that little metal trash can she likes.
uh, I've actually had some interactions with Aja Kong on Twitter before.
Oh yeah, I mean
Uh,
she seems great. She interacts with people. She's very cool on Twitter.
All right.
All right, but
Hell, I
with
would.
that, now that I've unlocked Wildside, that's all the standard trucks unlocked. So I am gonna call it a stream. I do want to thank my
Before you
buddy. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
before you um end the stream, could you when you upload this to YouTube, could you put me in the thumbnail?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll reach out to you for a picture.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to thank my buddy Bobby Gilbert for being on. This was his birthday stream, hanging out while we played some Monster Jam Showdown. Very fitting. And so thank you for hanging out. And thanks
You're
everyone else
welcome.
for tuning in and watching. And yeah, we'll be back again next Monday and Tuesday, 9 p.m. After next week, the schedule gets a little dicey. We're going to have to play it by ear. But yeah, until next time, everybody, take care. See you soon.